done. I feel like this is a great fight. I feel like this fight will be talked about for decades. You know, it's gonna be talked about just like how people still talk about Ray and Duran and all the soft fighters back then. I feel like this fight will be in boxing for a long time and people will forever talk about it.
When you look back at the journey towards making this fight happen, what moment stands out, or what motivated you to keep pushing for the fight?
I feel like for us, just dropping the ego and and the pride and getting on the phone with each other, FaceTime each other, sitting and really talking to each other and trying to get the fight happening. That means two fighters really want it when the fight might break down, but we give each other a number, we talk to each other, and try to make the fight happen.
Vegas has had a lot of amazing fights this year. How does it feel to be another name on the list of legacy fights in Vegas?
Well, it feels great. I feel like this is the biggest fight, boxing could have made, and it's finally happened.
And just piggybacking off of that, during the press conference, you mentioned a lot of this fight is going to be like the old school fights. But we've had a lot of new school fights this year that have been dominating. What do you think separates the old from the new?
I just feel like the old fights is just more action-packed, like from the first round all the way through. I just feel like it was like all-out war. Yeah, we have a lot of great fights this year, but I don't know. I just feel like the old school fights was just a little bit different, and just me watching it just felt like it's different. Like watching Ray Leonard and Tommy, we didn't have this year Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns or anything like that in a long time. So, and I feel like this fight could possibly do something like that.
How would you describe Crawford as a fighter?
I think it's just his whole mentality is to hurt you, stop you, and defeat you. So I rate him as a fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a guy that really come to fight. He's a guy that has that kill, be killed mentality. And if he do get you, he will get you out of there. So I'm looking forward to him.
And lastly, what statement do you want to make with the win on July 29th?
I want to make a great statement. I feel like when I win this fight, there'll be no argument who's the best fighter in the world. Pound for pound, cool, but this is no argument throughout anybody. I don't care about rankings. I don't care about who you think is the best. There's no argument that whoever wins the fight will be the best fighter in the world. I'm gonna make a great statement. I'm putting on a great show, a great performance. Like I always say, it might be a one-sided ass whooping.
Thank you so much, Chan. Best of luck.
How did you get the nickname the Big Fish? Where did that come from?
Oh man, I'm just the biggest, man. I'm just the biggest, so say you're gonna have a fish fry, you gotta catch me to fish fry me. So I mean that's gonna be hard to do. They ain't catch Moby Dick, so I don't think they're catching me.
You faced off with him twice. How do you size him up on a face off? Like size wise, did you?
I mean I've been seeing him a lot of times, but I mean he's like a regular dude to me. I didn't get too much out of it. He looked like he ready to go and ready to fight. So it's gonna be all out war. I'm excited for it.
Stylistically, why do you see this fight turning out to be a one-sided ass?
Stylistically. Oh no, he's definitely gonna try to fight. If you know Terence Crawford mentality, he's definitely gonna try to fight. He's definitely gonna put on a great show and do the best of his ability. If you know his mentality. But I just feel like I'm just a superior fighter. I feel like I'm gonna break him physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Everything. I'm just gonna break his will.
You told him years ago that you're too light in the ass. Now some years later, he's grown. Is he still too light in the ass?
Man, everybody too light in the ass for me. So.
What do you do? Last one for me. The main question I feel like for you heading into this fight versus him is his counter punching. Yeah. What's the best you could give me on how you're gonna get through that and win the fight despite his counter punching?
Man, everybody got counter punching. I mean, Danny Garcia the best counter puncher in the world. That never stopped me before.
You think Danny's better counter puncher than Terence?
I think he was.
When you fought him?
I think Terence is just faster than him and quicker than him. But I think Danny is definitely a great counter puncher.
If you two were superheroes, who would you be? Who would Crawford be?
Superhero? Man, I'd probably be like
Footwork.
Probably like a Goku or something. yeah, I'd probably be like a Goku. And it'd probably be like a Majin Buu or something, or Batman or something.
To me, what this fight means for your legacy, not only for being undisputed, but also being against Crawford.
This fight for my legacy, I mean, this is a legacy-defining fight. I feel like just us fight each other, and if this fight didn't happen, I mean, it probably been a dent on our legacy. So I feel like us just making this fight happen, it's already great for our legacy. I feel like this fight will go down as one of the best fights and a legacy fight, and one of those top wars where you see people showing highlights of Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and showing them old school highlights. I feel like those are one of these fights where this fight be talked about 20, 30 years from now, just like how I was a kid in the amateurs watching old school fights. I feel like the next 2 generations, whatever, gonna go back and watch Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Like, man, this is my favorite fight. Just go back and watch those fights, and people gonna be comparing fighters 10, 15, 20 years ago, just like how I'm comparing Ray Leonard 40-some years ago. Same thing's gonna happen with us. People still gonna compare Errol Spence and Terence Crawford to the next 2 generations.
Errol, with the addition of Anthony Joshua and Ryan Garcia in your gym, how has that impacted your
Fight Hub TV powered by Stage Front VIP with certified stepper Errol Spence Jr. What's going on, champ? How you doing?
Not much. Big step.
We are here. You look behind you, man. It's almost surreal to see Spence and Crawford's name Saturday, July 29. You guys stayed down, man, and made the fight happen for the fans. What does that say about both of you?
It says a lot. I believe I stayed down more because I was the guy. He left negotiation and fought Venetian, whatever guy name is. He fought that guy, so I went around for him. But I feel like for us to drop our egos and our pride and get on FaceTime, talk to each other, and try to make this fight happen, that means a lot. That means he really want to fight and I really want to fight. When 2 fighters can drop everything and talk to each other and be like, man, how can we make this happen? And I feel like that's a good feeling. We bring him back. I feel like the top guys fighting each other.
When we start talking about the history of the welterweight division, all the names come to mind. You got the Leonard, the Hearns, the Duran, the Mayweather, the Pacquiao. I mean, there's so many amazing names. You guys are getting ready to step hand in hand together into history. What does that feel like for you?
That feels great. I feel like this is one of these fights that people gonna be talking about. Like just like I'm talking about Ray Leonard and Hearns. That's something that happened 40-some years ago and 30-some years ago. Talking about these fights. I feel like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, it's gonna be somebody on the podium talking about, man, I remember when Terence Crawford and Errol Spence fought each other, or this fight is like an Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight. So, I feel like this fight is going to set up. It's going to set up people from, different 10, 20 years from now talking about how they want to have an action-packed fight or they want to have a great fight like Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. So, it's great.
Champ, a lot has been made about everything that you've been through physically, mentally. Just to set the record straight, how is Errol Spence Jr. mentally and physically and spiritually at this time right now heading into the biggest battle of your career?
Well, I feel good, man. That's what's up. You asked me that, but I feel good. You had your ups and you had your downs. Things like roller coaster, but as far as my life right now, man, I feel good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. You got to take things for what they are and keep striving and keep going and keep moving forward. So I'm feeling good, man. Got a happy family, got a happy life. I'm able to take care of them. I'm still blessed to be able to do the things that I love, like box. And that could be taken away from me at any point. So, I'm just taking everything with gratitude and taking everything with respect and knowing that, anything can end at a drop of a dime. So, I got to take things how it is and how they come.
Does that mindset come from the time that you were kind of convalesced, injured, just away from the sport, out on the ranch with the horses?
Definitely. That definitely give me peace of mind, but it definitely come from, just after my car crash and things happening and eye surgery and stuff like that, just knowing that, because when you're young, you think you're indestructible, and I was at a point where I thought I was indestructible, and I feel like, basically, higher power God, broke me down and, basically knocking on my door and telling me, warning comes before destruction. You know, I was going the way of, you know, destruction, doing things that I wouldn't usually do, you know. So I feel like he brought me back and just made me, hey man, you need to have more gratitude, more respect, and respect for what you do, because this is how you take care of your family, this is how you feed your village. So, you know what I'm saying, respect it like that. And, you know, it basically turned me around and got me focused, got me on point, and I heed the warning, and, you know, I'm back on my path, so I just got to stay focused, stay dedicated, and stay humble.
When we start talking about knocking on the door, you knocked on Shawn Porter's door, took the belt. Before that, you knocked on Kell Brook's door, took the belt. Lastly, you knocked on Ugas's door and took the belt. You're knocking on Terence Crawford's door. What happens when Terence opens that door up?
Oh, man, I ain't knocking nobody's door. I keep this shit down. Kick the Ugas shit down, Danny's shit down, Shawn's shit down, and now I'm finna kick Terence Crawford down. So I ain't knocking on nobody's door, get on no warning. I'm just kicking it straight in.
Hey, champ, Eric Robinson here. I want to know what pace are you in all-out war? Are you coming out throwing bombs? Or are you going to feel him out? Because I know both of you guys are power punchers. And, you know, the fans, you know we want that Terrence Hagler type thing. But just let me know how you're going to get down.
You know, I'm not a reckless fighter. I don't go in there reckless. You know, Terrence don't go in there reckless. So I'm not going to go out my character and try to prove something or just it's too crazy and get caught because I want to be uncharacteristic and I want to put on a show for everybody. You know, for me, it's about staying focused and staying on point and making sure I do the right thing so I can come out with something. But, you know, for me, I feel like our mentalities are, once we want more to each other and somebody get caught with a good shot or somebody get hit, you know, we both think, oh, we got to get that back. So, and that's going to turn into a real fight, especially when we start trading and things. So it's going to be a great fight, but I can't tell you how, if I'm gonna come out going crazy, which I doubt I will, and I don't think he's gonna come out going crazy.
EJ, it's been said that you guys are two of the most stubborn guys in the division, two of the most stubborn guys in boxing. Definitely you and Terence Crawford. How do you take the will of such a stubborn fighter like Terence Crawford on Fight Night?
I'm just gonna break him. That's how I take the will. I gotta, like you said, I'm super stubborn, and you know, the body can only take so much. You know, the mind can only take so much too. So, you know, you really got to show his not even his greatness. You got to show his legendary status come fight night, because, you know, I'm in the breaking business. I'm gonna break physically and mentally. So we'll see if he can take it.
Appreciate you, champ. Thank you.
Being the underdog on the Vegas with the superstar, Stephen Cordano Keller, sports writer, the one and only Errol Spence Jr. First, I want to ask, man, how did you spend April 16th this year? Errol Spence Day, your first Errol Spence Day in Texas. What'd you do?
I ain't do nothing, man.
Nothing? No.
Nah, I ain't do nothing, man. I was sitting on the couch watching snowfall.
So you could have got free dinner somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Man, Terence has talked about how he gave you a call, kind of start the process of this. When you got that call, where were you? And what were you thinking? Were you thinking like, oh, I don't have time to take this, or were you? I don't know. What was your mindset when that happened?
I picked up. We were talking, and you know, I feel like for us to drop, you know, our egos and our pride, and, you know, get on the phone and talk to each other, you know, and make this fight happen, you know, that shows a lot. You know, that shows that he really wanted to fight, and I really want to fight. And, you know, you got to have some type of respect for somebody just to do that. So I feel like, you know, we definitely got mutual respect for each other. But as you know, our mentality is to basically, you know, destroy our opponent. So that's being respectful during fight time, you know, that's out the window. You know, it's basically destruction.
Are you guys still betting the million?
Nah.
No more?
Man, nah, we ain't betting million.
You guys had some words in the face-off, you know, kind of smiling at first. It was kind of like we're finally here. But what were the words to each other?
Nah, we started smiling because like it's crazy we finally here, and that's why, you know, that's why we were smiling, because like, man, like we finally here. Like when I looked over, I was like it's finally happening. Like all this talk, and it's finally here. So that was the crazy part. That's the crazy part about it, that it finally happened. But you know, we were just, you know, drawing at each other, telling each other, you know, what we're gonna do to each other. But at the end of the day, you know, it really got me pumped up. Just seeing him and just, you know, facing out with him like we really here.
When you talked about the crawfish boil, just last one. There's crawfish boil. Are you gonna have a shirt for a crawfish boil? Is that? I know you have the shark. You got the roll of smoking bread. Are you gonna have a crawfish shirt?
I don't know. That might be the next one, but you know, in Vegas, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna roll that man up.
Thank you, Errol. Appreciate your time.
Errol, what do you tell the fight fans, you know, to get that pay-per-view on July 29th? What do you tell the fight fans to buy the pay-per-view, not to stream it on July 29th?
You said what? Say it again?
What do you tell the fight fans that to buy the pay-per-view, not to legally stream it on July 29th, to support the fight?
I feel like you definitely need to support the fighters. It's a great fight. I mean, these are the fights that get made, so I mean, it should be a very lucrative fight, and if you stream it, more fighters are not, you know, going to take the fights, or they're going to take fights because it's like people don't do this and do that anyway, and they kind of, you know, mess up the business side of boxing. And most of you guys gonna be like, I can fight somebody, you know, Joe Blow and get paid, you know, the same amount, you know, rather than fighting the guy that's gonna, you know, put them, you know, on another pedestal and put them on top. You know, so I want everybody just to buy the pay-per-view, you know, and just tune into this fight, because we're putting our life on the line for y'all, so make sure you tune in and, you know, order the fight pay-per-view.
Crawford suspect, you know, predicting a knockout is just going to, you know, he knocked out everyone at 147, expecting the same, you know, July 29th. What do you tell Crawford? What's expecting to knock you out?
Don't even sound good, so, I mean, you can expect whatever. You know what it is with me. It's gonna be an all-out war, all-out fight. We're gonna put on a great show, great performance, and you can try to come in and get the knockout, whatever. But it's gonna be a lot of resistance, and hopefully I can get the KO.
Oh, what differences has there?
Bout TV from CW Las Vegas. We want to congratulate you tonight, and also with this Spence versus Crawford. It's been a long time, and now that it's here, and as you talk about your family and influencing others, after this fight on July 29th, what is your motivation and what is your end game for what's next for you? Your family or who else?
I'm not worried about who I want. I mean, it's just for me, you know, just get back to my family and just, you know, lock in with them and just, you know, spend some time with my kids. They get out of school June 15th this week. They get out of school, so, you know, I'm still going to be in training camp. So after, you know, go somewhere with them, take them somewhere and, you know, have fun with them and, you know, not really think about boxing.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
Go ahead.
And then, could you give me a shout out to Bout TV Fight Night?
This is Errol Spence Jr. Shout out to Bout TV Fight Night.
How's Ryan?
Errol, what differences or this camp, if any? I said, what differences or additions has there been to this camp, if any?
Have been no additions. I mean, different sparring partners, but that's about it. I feel like it's been a great camp so far. It's going good. Of course, you have your bumps, you know, things that happen, but, you know, it's been great.
How's Ryan in the gym? Ryan Garcia, new addition, new stablemate.
I mean, it's been good, but, you know, I train like 8, 9 in the morning, so I don't really see anybody.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, sir. Sorry.
Legacy means a lot to you. What was the Ring Magazine, winning with the Ring Magazine into Fat Belt?
It means a lot. You know, that's a very prestigious belt. You know, just to have that Ring Magazine belt, you see guys like Ray Leonard and Cameron and all the great fighters, you know, with the Ring Magazine belt. It means a lot. You know, I'm happy. You know, I definitely want that belt, and I'm glad that, you know, I don't think y'all take any sanction fees. So, you know, that means a lot too.
The one thing I wanted to ask you was, you know, you both reached out to each other to finalize this fight. Do you kind of wish that this would have been done earlier, or do you think that the way things worked out, this is the right time that this fight takes place?
I believe everything happens for a reason. You know, yeah, if it would have happened earlier, 4 or 5 years ago, when people said it should, so-called should have happened, you know, this wouldn't have been a legacy fight. It wouldn't have been, you know, undisputed. It's been two good fighters, a great fighters fighting each other. You know, Alpha would have had the IBF, and he would have had the WBO. Would have been fighting, and, you know, made, you know, decent money compared to, you know, what we're making now. So I just feel like now it's more legacy fight, more impactful. I feel like this is a great fight. This really shows who's the best fighter, not only in the welterweight division, but the best fighter in the world.
What would it make for you to become a champion? Obviously, you're already a Hall of Famer at this point.
It means a lot. I mean, this is what you train for. This is what, you know, as a little kid, the fights used to watch, and you know, you seeing all these guys, you know, becoming, you know, great fighters, and now, you know, now I'm on the verge of becoming, you know, a great fighter, maybe, you know, future Hall of Famer and things like that. So it's a great moment, I feel like, in my career, and watching these guys as a kid and watching the other boy at Trinidad and watching all these great fighters from back then. And now I'm in their shoes, and who says 20, 30 years from now, you know, it's gonna be a kid on YouTube, you know, watching me and Terence Crawford fight, and man, I want to fight like that, or man, I can't wait till I get an Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight. You know, that's what you know, you want to, especially, you know, coming up. So I just want to be mentioned. Just like how I talk about Ray Leonard, Tom Hearns 40 years ago. I want somebody 40 years from now talking about, you know, I want to have a fight like Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Audemars was the best fight in the best. So that just means a lot.
Describe Terence Crawford as a rival.
I feel like he's the perfect dance partner. I feel like everybody needs that dance partner, and you know, he's the guy that's really going to show the world, you know, why I know that I'm the best fighter in the world. So, I mean, I think he's a guy who has nothing but grit, you know, has a great mentality, you know, to go out there and kill his opponent and get his opponent out of there. As you say, he got, all knockouts at welterweight, so he's a guy that's going to go for the kill. So I describe him as a guy, no-nonsense guy, a guy that's going to really come to fight. He's looking to put on a great show, very talented fighter, and a guy that's willing to fight the best fighter.
You guys were
Do you believe that, you know, you having that a factor in you beating him on fight night?
You know, I don't really care. I don't care about the resume. I just believe my skill set is better than him.
What do you take on people using Shawn Porter as kind of like the measuring stick as to why they think he's going to beat you?
I'll tell people to watch the fight. Shawn Porter had a fight after me. He fought, I forgot his name, the guy. Yeah, Sebastian. And watch that fight. It showed me and asked me, well, ask yourself, was that the same Shawn Porter that fought me when he fought Sebastian? Did he look the same when he fought all these other guys? Ask yourself that, and then after that fight, he fights Terence Crawford. And then he even came out in the interview saying that he didn't do the things that his dad wanted him to do, and you know, he felt like he didn't need to do those things, and you know, it's a lot of that stuff was unnecessary. He felt like he was already experienced, and he didn't need to do those things anymore. So, I mean, we know how Shawn Porter got here, listened to his dad, and you know, doing everything his dad wanted him to do, even if he was crazy. So, you know, he wasn't the same fighter. He was a shell of himself, and he was already on the verge of wanting to retire after Terence Crawford anyway. So, you know, I feel like he wasn't the same. He was not at all the same fighter as when he fought me.
What do you think of him throwing shade at you that he doesn't drink or smoke? Or what do you think he meant by that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. Yeah, you know, it is what it is, man. Hey, man, I don't drink now, so I mean, it is what it is. So he don't drink, he don't smoke. You know, he want to throw shade. You know, I'm here for a reason. You know, I got 3 belts for a reason. We fighting for a reason. It's undisputed for a reason. So, I mean, he can throw all the shade in the world. You know what it is come fight night. So, I'm 100% focused on that. And once I get him out of there, like I said, we're going to roll him up in the pack and we're going to smoke him.
I asked Terence what separates him from you. Now I ask you the same. What separates you from Terence?
Let me see. it's a lot separate. I think, you know, he's probably more talented than me, but, you know, like you said, he don't smoke, so he ain't willing to roll me up. I'm willing to roll him up.
Hey, Errol, how satisfying taking place after so long?
I'm definitely satisfied. I feel like, you know, this is the biggest fight in boxing, period. I feel like this is what fans definitely been clamoring for. I feel like it's happening at the right moment. You know, we could have fought 5 years ago, but it wouldn't be for all the marbles. You know, it wouldn't be to decide who's the best fighter in the world. I feel like this fight decides not only who's the best fighter in the welterweight division, but who's the best fighter in the world, period.
Now, what did it take to finally get it over the finish line? Was it you guys actually getting on the phone and talking with each other? Was it the promoters talking, or what was it that actually got it to be made?
It had nothing to do with that. It's just, you know, definitely us getting on the phone, but, you know, it definitely, I feel like the fight got made because, you know, I definitely took some concessions that he wanted, and, you know, that, you know, a lot of the business guys thought I wasn't going to take, or I wasn't going to do, and, you know, I made a concession just to make the fight happen.
Like what?
I can't say. Ask him.
Now, he says that, you know, styles make fights. What is it about you guys' styles that actually, you know, makes or mesh for this fight?
I think mentality. His mentality, you know, he want to kill. My mentality is I want to kill. So I think it's a great old school mentality type fight overall. But, like, you know, he's not going to want to break. I'm definitely not going to want to break. And I feel like when two fighters don't want to break and somebody has to break, you know, it's going to be a great fight, old school fight, action-packed fight. And the fans definitely is going to get their money worth on fight night.
Now, what fight do you think between two undefeated fighters at welterweight compares to this one that you can remember?
That I watched on YouTube?
I don't know. I mean, a welterweight fight is the one that I remember is, you know, Oscar and Trinidad. That, you know, of two undefeated fighters. I mean, there've been big fights at welterweight, but not undefeated.
Yeah, that was a huge fight, but, you know, it probably went below expectations a little bit, you know. So, you know, it wasn't all out war that people thought it was going to be. You know, so I compare this to, like, you know, Ray, Tommy Hearns. You know, two guys just going at it, trying to break each other's will, just trying to break each other by any means necessary. I feel like it's going to be one of those type fights where, you know, people are going to talk about this fight, you know, and get the chills, and 30, 40 years from now, we're going to talk about this fight just like how they talk about Ray and Tommy, and still go back and watch these fights. We're going to have little boxers, you know, going to watch these fights. Dads, you know, showing their sons these fights and be like, you know, you see how he doing it, see how he doing that? And they're going to go back and tune in and watch this fight. It's going to be talked about for a long time, I think.
Now, before this fight, there was talks of you maybe going up to 154. Do you think that this might, you know, be your last at 147, or you might go up to 154?
I'm gone. I'm running for the hills.
All right, thank you.
Hey, champ, you're always talking about legacy. And if this fight, let's say, the winner of this fight, what is the time in the welterweight division?
I don't know about that. I don't know where I rank. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, disrespect any of the older fighters. You know,
sure.
I'm paying homage to some of them. So I don't know where we rank, but we definitely gonna be there. We definitely gonna be, I think, you know, top 5. You know, best welterweights in the world. You know, we might be both best top 5 welterweights in the world. Even if he lose, you know, it's still gonna win. It's still gonna be, you know, a great fight where people gonna watch and see not only the fight, but they're gonna see the skill sets and the talents and the abilities and be like, man, that was a great fight. So, you know, I don't know where we're gonna rank, but if we talk about, you know, the fight wise, I know we're gonna rank at the top, especially, you know, that all the great fights that happen this year, I feel like this is, on paper right now, this is the best fight that's happened in a long time. I think probably since De La Hoya and Trinidad.
Appreciate you, champ.
This is a huge fight. How much of an impact will this fight have?
A huge impact. I feel like skill-wise, talent-wise, ability, you know, both our mentalities. This is a great fight. We're both gonna put on a great show, and I'm gonna have a great performance. I'm gonna try to make it one side, but if not, I'm open to all-out war too. So this is gonna be huge, and it's gonna, I feel like, impact a lot of boxers, and you know, they're gonna want this fight, and they're gonna clamor over this fight, and they're gonna want a fight like this of their own.
Now, you just said it right now yourself. This is a great fight on paper and card. A lot of mega fights and super fights haven't lived up to the hype. What are you going to do to actually make sure this one does live up to the hype?
I think it's going to live up to the hype. I mean, a lot of fights didn't live up to the hype, but they ain't had the same mentality. You know, you can see in Terence Crawford fights that he has, and the mentality I have in my fight, it's always action-packed. His fights are always action-packed, so I think, you know, people definitely gonna get their money's worth.
There's a lot of back and forth on Twitter, Instagram, social media, and all the time that you guys have been prior to this. Today up on stage, mutual respect. What led to that?
It's always been mutual respect. Even, you know, he was trying to say, you know, my side is the reason why this crap broke down, and you know, I'm saying that his side is the reason why it broke down. But you know, we finally got to the gist of it. You know, we got on Facebook, we got on FaceTime, talked to each other, and you know, it's just finally happening. So that mutual respect, I think, for both of us to drop our egos and our pride and get on FaceTime and, you know, chop it up with each other, talk to each other, and basically, you know, ask each other, you know, how can we make this fight happen? You know, that gives us a lot of mutual respect right there, just being able to talk to somebody, because if you ain't got respect for somebody or you don't really care for somebody, you ain't gonna be getting on there and talking to somebody for especially how many times we talked on the phone.
As you said, this fight did break down prior to this date and everything. Do you feel this fight is happening at the right time?
It's definitely happening at the right time. If it happened for 4 or 5 years from now, it wouldn't have been for Undisputed. It would have been probably for the WBO and the IBF. And, you know, he wouldn't have had the wins against Shawn Porter, Kelbull. You know, so it would have been, you know, 2 great fighters fighting each other. And, you know, that would have been it. But for me now, I feel like this is to see who's the best fighter in the world, not only in the welterweight division, but in the world, period.
I have the best question for you all the time. Wait 1 second. As an African American woman who you support in all that you do, I want to make sure all our youth understand what you want to say to them about overcoming adversity and being a champ.
So I just want to tell them just to stay focused, man. Stay focused, stay hungry. Don't listen to the people that, you know, try to betray you. You know, your truth is your truth, and what you want to do, not everybody gonna see your vision.
Exactly,
like, you're gonna have people, you know, telling you that do this or do that, but if you got a vision, they're not gonna believe in anything that you got until you become a little bit successful, or they see you peeking through the cracks, and then everybody want to jump on. But when you first getting started, you know, your core people is your family and the people that's really, you know, stuck by you. So I just want people just to stay focused, stay hungry, stay dedicated, keep believing in yourself.
And I love that about you, by the way. We saw that all over the monitor, the screen. That just oozes out of you. The self-confidence, the love of your people, and you just seem honorable.
Thank you. But just keep believing in yourself and your abilities, and you know, it's all about you at the end of the day. You know, it's not about what people say.
Right.
People are not gonna believe in you until you believe in yourself and your abilities. So just stay focused. I'm with y'all. I love y'all, man. Keep on the right path.
And make sure to tell everybody to follow me at My Chocolate Chip Chick so they can follow you.
Everybody, follow
Heather, My Chocolate Chip Chick. Yes. Bye. Thank you.